All right, great. So that seems to be going. Excellent. Welcome everybody. So excited to have everybody here. I know people are just coming in, so I'm going to kind of give a super brief overview of, some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't. And that way I can help you guys kind of get a better sense of who I am and what I do. So I'm Tara Meyer-Robson. My passion is helping people translate the message behind their pain and disease and getting them on the path to healing. So I work a lot with people with cancer, pain, like shoulder pain, back pain, all kinds of different things. I've worked with people with really rare and terminal illnesses. And the neat thing is no matter what the situation, this is your body's way. The pain, the disease, the things that are showing up for you right now are your body's way of telling you what's off in your mind, your body, and your life. So how I like to describe that a lot is that, it's a lot like learning a foreign language. Okay. So and that's the thing, like the body's screaming at us a lot, but the problem is we didn't come in with a lot of knowledge on what all those things mean. So, when I do these translations, and you'll see kind of the process today, which I, again, absolutely love doing. As I say, it's very much like a foreign language. So I can remember being back in freshman year of high school and, being in French class, which I was completely honestly quite terrible at. And Madame Cross, my teacher, came to the front of the room, first day of class, and she starts, saying a whole bunch of stuff. As far as I could tell, it was gibberish in French. I had no idea what she was saying. And while I did struggle for the entire year, I did learn French, at least enough to be mildly dangerous. And by the end of the year, she ended up standing up and repeating the exact same paragraph she had said at the beginning of the year. And suddenly I understood everything she said. And why was that? It was because I learned this word in French means this thing in English. Okay. And so what I do and the way I teach people is this kind of pain in this spot in the body with this timing at this severity means this. So it's really just about learning how the language of the body is speaking in different kinds of pain, illness, lumps, bumps, the way it shows up, etc. So welcome to everybody here. If you would like me to do an on-the-spot translation for you today, I'd be delighted. You can do so by raising your hand in the chat menu. So you hit chat, and I'm going to put it right here. You can just raise your hand over in the chat, or you can say, hey, I'd love a translation, and I will be happy to get to you. Couple of notes as we go forward and get moving today. One thing is I work with medical professionals. I work with all kinds of healing professionals. So this is not medical advice, but it is telling you what your body is telling you about what's off. So I do always definitely tell people, please make sure you get a proper diagnosis, especially for things that are particularly severe or things that are overwhelming, have been long-standing, that sort of thing, okay? So please make sure you do talk to a doctor. I know sometimes you have to go to like 12 doctors to get the correct diagnosis. And talking to me today, if there's something going on you're not quite sure of, I might be able to at least point you in the right direction as to what's up and what's going on, okay? So let me tell you real quick before we get going, before I actually do some live translations, a little bit about me. How did I end up sort of doing this work? So I was always the kid that kind of saw patterns. So you'll see as I do the live translations, I'm kind of looking for this pattern from this to this to this to this, okay? So when somebody is telling me what's going on, I oftentimes feel like I have sort of a bunch of bubbles above my head where I'm popping little pieces of information. And then I'm looking for what are those connections? What's the web? What's the network? What's the pattern? Okay, and for me, it took me a really long time to even call myself a medical intuitive, because for me, it is so logical. It's just a very logical process. You tell me this is what's going on, I put it all together, and there it is. Okay, and that's fine, Kristen, having your bot taking notes. Okay, cool, thank you, that's great. Anyways, so that is kind of what I do and how I do it. The way I ended up becoming, starting to really do this work is I had been working in the corporate world for a little while after college, and I was really overworking, quite honestly. I knew that I was a highly sensitive person, eventually figured out that I was an empath, and eventually figured out I was a physical empath, which means I actually feel other people's pain or disease or no emotions inside my own body as if they're my own. And that was a little overwhelming for a long time. When I didn't know what it was, I kind of felt pretty cursed. And so I was getting pulled in a lot of different directions. I didn't know how to set healthy boundaries. I didn't even know what healthy boundaries were particularly. I just worked and worked and worked and worked and tried to hold up a lot of things. Eventually, me doing all that ended up culminating in me being about 26, 27 years old. And I got mononucleosis. Now, I was married, didn't make a lot of sense. It's supposed to be the kissing disease. I remember looking at the doctor and being like, I'm married. Like, where in the world would I have even gotten this? And I had mono in college when I was not married. And so so you're not supposed to be able to get it twice, right? So it made no sense. In a medical way, it really didn't make sense. I shouldn't be able to get it again. I was married. It wasn't like I was, my husband didn't have mono. So it didn't make a ton of sense. And at that point, my spleen was 3 times the size that it should be, according to the doctor, which is why I was having a lot of really severe pain when I was trying to run, work out, that kind of stuff. It was really bad. That's what actually drove me to the doctor to find out I had mono. And he told me that if I didn't take some time off, that I could actually die. My spleen could burst and I could die. But at the time, I was really holding up a lot in my work. And so instead of taking the time off that he requested, I took a half a day off, which was not the 6 weeks that he thought was necessary. And it was really, honestly, a turning point for me where it was I'm, risking your life to hold together a whole bunch of work stuff is not good. You shouldn't, that's not good. And there were underlying beliefs there that I had to do that, right? And so eventually what that turned into was I had a doctor ended up telling me, you have chronic fatigue. You're going to be living with this for the rest of your life. And when I say I had chronic fatigue, I would get up, I would go to try to do something, and I would be knocked down in bed for the rest of the day. I mean, it would be maybe an hour, and then I was knocked down in bed. And this was really rough coming from a person who was always doing athletics and kickboxing and a very energetic person, always out and about, very outgoing. And suddenly I couldn't function. And I knew inside myself when the doctor said it was incurable and I was just going to live with it for the rest of my life, I'm not great with authority. So thankfully, I knew inside myself there was a connection between these life patterns I'm talking about of overwork, of over hustle, of holding everybody else up, of having no boundaries. Whatever anybody else needed all the time, I was always there to, pull it together. I was literally being pulled apart at the strings or at the seams, really, at that point. And so that's really when I sat down and started to research everything I could get my hands on, because I thought there has to be some connection between the disease that's manifesting, the beliefs I have about my right to have, some boundaries and do all of these things in life, and everything else, all the life experiences that I'm going through. There has to be this connection. And after grabbing psychology, energy medicine, I became a Reiki master. I studied quantum physics. That was sort of the final thing. Philosophy, world religion, Eastern and Western medicines. I studied everything I could get my hands on, looking for what was that common factor. And one night or early morning, about 3 a.m, I ended up making the discovery that became the core of the flow method, and then the body language, deciphering your body's clues so you could heal. What happened at that point was I was able to very easily pinpoint the exact underlying beliefs, what my body was trying to tell me in these underlying beliefs, and how I could shift it, right? And pretty quickly after that, I started to heal. And that was when I knew I had something that I would be able to help other people with. And I then went on, and my grandma ended up with breast cancer. And she, at 80 years old, was willing to believe me and work with me. And we were able to have a ton of wonderful things happen out of that, where, she literally was telling the doctor, the oncologist, my granddaughter helped me because a tumor actually disappeared. The doctor's I don't know where it went, but it's not there anymore. And so that for me, not only did it validate that what I had figured out was going to work for other people besides me, but it also, if I never did another thing in my whole life, I would feel like helping my grandma heal in that moment was my life purpose fulfilled. So now I get to do this all the time, fast forward to now, for people all around the world. And I'm also teaching other people how to do it now. And that's very cool because I can see people replicating my results. So let's go ahead and look. And I see that Olivia, I think you, Olivia, I'm going to see if I can, let me go to the participant thing and see if I can let you on. There we go. I'm going to, Livia, I'm going to have you talk. I'm going to allow to talk. And let's see if I can
Hey,
get...
can you hear me?
Hey, Livia, I can hear you. I can hear you. So you said that you feel like that's kind of some of the things that you have going on for you right now?
Yes, it's the fact that I have a lot of work and I felt like I was, um, I think the overwhelmed is the right word because, and I just stopped and take 4 days of sick leave, of medical leave,
Okay.
but I still feel a lot of pressure. Also
Okay.
because of the work, because we are a few people and my company it's
Huh?
hiring only if 2 people are leaving the same team.
Okay.
And also I kind of the pressure because of my mother. The theme of the mother is coming back because she got for me a car
Okay.
for more than 2 years, and I did the school, the school for driving, how should I
Okay.
say it?
Okay.
And now I have till 17th of June, and I cannot concentrate to do the tests in order to I have went to the
Uh-huh.
register that we have here. I have taken the test, but every time I have failed, so I didn't pass it.
Gotcha. Okay. So, Livia, let me ask you real quick. So, you're telling me that, so your mom got you a car about 3 years ago, right? Is that correct so
Yes,
far? Okay.
yes,
And then you need to take the driving test, but you are having a hard time. Your brain is feeling foggy and unable to take the test, or you are taking the test and you just aren't, you're failing it because you're not able to think.
I went and I can give the test several times, but I have failed it.
Okay,
I
so you've
didn't
taken the test a couple times, but you're failing it despite having studied and like being ready for it. Is that right?
I don't have, how should I say? I want to do the test and study, but something is stopping me. It's stopping me so badly
Okay.
that I cannot start the test and doing it.
Got
And
you. Okay. Okay.
I
Stopping,
thought,
you're stopping from totally being able to do the test. It's like,
yeah, I'm not learning. So I thought that I am lazy or something like that. But
okay.
hearing you up on this, uh, I I empathize with you. And
Yeah.
at work,
Mhm.
although I have take the time off, I still feel pressure.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm telling
Go
myself
ahead.
it's just a job. I will see what I'm doing from Monday on, but
Mhm.
I still feel the pressure and I cannot stay and relax.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it feels to me like you're just like what's going on is anxiety and you're very, very tightly wound, almost like you're looking for what is the next thing I have to do? What is the next thing I have to hold up? Does that sound right to you?
Something like that. Although I have pills for anxiety and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'm glad you're getting. I mean, I'm glad you're getting help for it because anxiety is sucky. But let's get to the core of the anxiety. Let's go back on that. So, since I have worked with you in the past, I know that there's been a lot of issues with regard to your mom and a lot of the pressure she does put on you. So I'm wondering if the car, as much as you are excited to have the car, isn't a symbol of if you learn how to drive the car and you're actually driving the car, that you are like sort of more emotionally beholden to her in some way. Um, and that it's a ton. I think that may be why you're sort of avoiding doing the driving test in the first place. Does that sound like something that's going on with you?
Not really.
No?
I feel like she she bought the car without asking me. She said, look, I have bought a car uh, specially for you, but
Mhm.
I don't want the car.
Well, see that okay, that's exactly what I mean by that. So that is, I think you're not doing well on the driving test. I think you're stopping on the driving test because actually you don't want this thing from your mom because it's like almost more, it's like, oh, here, I'm giving you this, but it's not actually what you want from your mom. Does that,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
so I
yes,
think that's why it's not laziness and it's not, I mean, it's procrastination, but it's the procrastination. What's under it is you don't actually, if you get your driving license, then you can drive the car and you don't want the car because it's not what you want from your mom. You want love, you want support, you want these other things. You don't necessarily want this car. Does that make
the
sense?
yes. The rest of the time, she's really okay. Like she knows boundaries. She understands that I should be left alone to do the work because I have a lot of work, and to let me sleep and have quiet and everything. But
Mhm.
with this part, she's saying she's getting broken because nobody is using it.
Yeah,
And
right.
like,
Right, which is only adding more pressure actually. Okay, so let's go to this. So what is your body I know you're feeling anxiety, but what's your body feeling right now in terms of pressure? Are you feeling aches or pains in places? What's going on with that?
well, I feel a pain in, how should I say, in the solar plex,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
and I feel very, very tired. I get in the bed trying to sleep and relax,
Mhm.
and the next thing I'm thinking, well, I can do that. I don't know. I can put things in order in I don't know what cabin, or I should to do that with the laundry or things like that, and I cannot pay anymore.
Yep. Okay, so you're not relaxing, but I think the bigger issue is it's an underlying issue with self-worth. So talk to me about why, like when you have the solar plexus issue, well, self-worth and actually detachment from a life purpose. So I think we need to work on those two things. But um, so tell me, when you have your solar plexus, what's going on with that? You said it hurts. What's it feel like when it's off?
It's kind of tension there. It doesn't really hurt,
Uh-huh. Gripping?
but it's kind of tension.
Uh-huh. Okay. So I guess and then you're feeling this obviously all over body exhaustion. Some of it can be obviously from the anxiety. The anxiety can come from some of the self-worth issues, but um, the overwhelming exhaustion is, I think, a detachment from. How are you feeling about kind of any connection to your own life purpose, like what you're supposed to do here in the world? How are you feeling about that?
I feel like I'm not getting to my purpose. I mean, you know, that old story. I'm still single, and I still don't have a family, like with a husband and kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to calm myself because I have two backups plan, or at least one backup plan. I
Okay.
mean, I thought if I will not get a baby till, I mean, get a husband and make a baby till 42, 43 years old, I can go to a bank where I can have a
Right.
baby by myself.
Yep.
But doing that on one side, it's kind of scaring me because although I don't want to think about it, I'm thinking what people will say and how they will look at me when I will have a big belly and no husband around me.
Yeah, that's a lot of now speaking of pressure. So I think everybody probably that's listening can hear it's a lot you're talking about a lot of pressure on what are people thinking? I think you're getting that same thing at work about, am I doing enough? Am I holding up enough? And then
Mhm.
that is all that is all going to give you so much exhaustion, so much exhaustion. So let me ask you. So when I hear the solar plexus and the stomach area like gripping or tense, that tends to be fear. And I think probably your greatest fear on some of this is A, what are people going to think? And B, um, I think there's a lot of fear around you having your own self-worth, like your own sense of who you are. And because I have worked with you and I have met you personally in Romania, I know what an incredible human you are. But I know that you've had a lot of messaging that's not exactly positive in terms of your your truth. So I want you to really quickly tell me like do you think is what do you think is the best thing about you? Like the very best thing that you could say?
A quality that I have.
Hmm.
Well, the first thing that comes into my mind is that I'm persistent.
Okay. Persistent is great, but then persistent also has pressure attached to it, right? Because persistence means you're pushing ahead, pushing ahead, pushing ahead. Okay. So what I'd like to do is find a way to help you to release some of the pressure that you're feeling. What are you doing at night to help yourself to relax? Do you do anything at night? Because I think that's one of the things is sort of lifting some of this off of you.
Well, to be honest, sometimes when I go to bed, I put the soulmate meditation that you gave me. Otherwise, I'm doing, but not every single night. Other times, I'm watching some TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I have a pill that I'm using to go to sleep.
To help you go to sleep. Okay, no, that's fine. That part's fine. So there's a couple of things. One is I think at night I'd like you to see yourself going from your toes all the way up to your head. Just see all the pressure being lifted off you as if like there's a bunch of little hot air balloons that are sort of attaching to the pressure and lifting it. So you go to your toes and you lift the pressure, and then you go to your feet and you lift the pressure, and you go all the way through your body to the top of your head and literally release, just feel the pressure get pulled off of you. I think it's a matter of literally you almost need this to be lifted off of you to start to help. Then what I'd like to have quickly is, and I know we have to get to other people too, but what I'd also like to have you do really quickly is tell me. So, Livia, I know that there's a lot of focus, needless to say, and understandably, on wanting to have a family, wanting to be a mom, which I believe me, I understand that feeling very much. um, Yep, very, very much. I love being a mom, but it took a long time. So I want you to take me back though. Like when you were a little kid, can you remember what were the things you wanted to be as a kid?
Yes, I wanted to be a piano teacher,
Mm.
the conductor,
Piano teacher or conductor? Mm.
both,
Okay, and conductor. Okay,
an
that's really
orchestra conductor.
okay. That's really interesting to me. And tell me, why did you want to be those things? Do you remember?
Yes, because I really admire my mom. She at that time for me she was perfect.
And your mom was a
Um,
piano teacher then and a conductor?
Both, yes.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to be like her.
Okay.
Well, I'm a teacher now because I'm teaching martial arts
Mhm.
and I'm really good at it. At least this is what people around me are saying.
Yep.
Also, I have a psychologist that came and see how I'm teaching, and she said that it was great. Um, and in a way, I'm doing that. Um,
So that is awesome. And I'm really excited about that because I think that's amazing for you. And I think that's something we should explore. But what I want you to do, so what's popping out to me right away is that as a little kid, you know, you were not even wanting to be something really for yourself. You were wanting to be something in a lot of ways because you wanted to be like your mom, which on one hand is very normal for kids to obviously want to be like their mom. But on the other hand, it was, I think, an issue of not ever being allowed to know who you were or have your own kind of goals and dreams. It was more about trying to get validation and love and acceptance, and then fearing, you know, if I do that, then I won't be abandoned. Okay. And I wonder if that's not connected to some of the things going on with like the relationships and not having, you know, that fear of abandonment can come out in ways where we are gripped, we are anxious all the time, we are unable to relax because it's like, what am I going to lose? How am I going to get, you know, how am I going to get some feeling of stability here? I think that's the core of what's going on, is actually a desire to be unconditionally loved and a fear of abandonment that's driving probably a huge amount of pressure, needless to say, on you, which is wearing you out. How does that sit with you? Do you understand what I'm saying on that?
Yes, I understand, but it's partially true and partially not, because this was the main issue. I have worked on this matter. I have kind of passed because I thought, now I'm thinking myself, why do you want a family? Because I want to give love to my partner, to take care of him, because I'm certain that I can be a very good mother and to know how to raise a special kid, not having a kid in order to not be alone.
Right.
He's transformed because I'm seeing
Right.
how people are raising their kids here in Romania, at least, and I don't agree with them. And I think I will have a very good kid, well behaved, because I know how to do it.
I absolutely 100% agree with that. Here's what I would like you to, I want you to work on, because I'll move on to somebody else just in a second. But
Yes,
what I want you to,
so much.
no. I'm so glad to talk to you. So what I want you to work on are two different, well, one, I'd like you to do the thing at night, lifting this off. Two, I want you to sit down and try to remember back what you really wanted to be as a child that was not necessarily the piano teacher and the conductor, which is great, but can you remember something that you wanted to be like for you? I want you to like write this out, journal this out. Think about, as a kid, what was important to you? What were you drawn to? Okay. Because I do think the martial arts teaching is actually really, really good for you and you get a lot of joy from it. If we could grow a little bit on that, then you would be able, I think we could release some of the pressure just from an underlying level. Okay. So I want you to work on that. And I'd like you to work on, I'd like you to write down the ideal, if you had your ideal life, no pressure at all, and everything was as you wanted it to be, and you felt fully loved and accepted. So you didn't have to grip in your stomach anymore and worry about, like, because again, the solar plexus is where we have all of our feelings about ourselves, our sense of being able to protect ourselves, all of that. If you were able to have all of this be easy and joyful, and that you didn't have to be persistent anymore, okay, because I think persistence is great, but there's a lot of pressure that drives that. What would that look like for you? I'd like you to really envision, take everything else out, find a place that makes you happy to go do this so that you're outside of anything that does give you pressure or triggers your pressure. Write down everything that you, as you would like to have it. And then if you can, send it to me in an email. And I should be able to help you like fine tune this a little bit more so we can get a bunch of this pressure off of you, because I think this is a little bit of a larger issue than just kind of an immediate translation, there's like more layers here that need to be uh, explored. But I think if we can connect you back to a different, right now you're just getting really disconnected from, you're in a position where you're constantly having to make things happen instead of feeling that things are able to come from an organic place, and that's exhausting. And then if you add to it kind of an abandonment, wanting to be loved kind of issue, which so many people struggle with, that's going to really drain and cause the tension in your stomach. So if you can you do those two things for me, Livia, and send it off to me?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I have written it down and I will do it. Thank you very much, Tara.
Oh, I'm so glad to talk to you. You know, I'm so glad to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you. You know, you've got so much good ahead of you, and I think it's just right now, it's just been a moment where a lot of things are on you. So we just have to help that shift a little bit.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Sure.
you. And so thanks for keeping Tara so much to talk with me.
Oh no, I'm so glad to talk. I'm glad to talk to all of you guys. So thank you for being here. And let me see if somebody else wants to come on. Thank you so much, Olivia. Okay. Let's see. Let me look in the chat. Okay. If anybody else wants to give me if anybody else would like me to do a quick translation, Sasha. Okay, sure. Let me go. Hang on one second. Let me find you, Sasha. I gotta allow you to talk. Okay. Sasha, I think I've allowed.
Hi, Tara.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Sasha.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. I'm super happy that you're here. How can I help you? What's going on?
So I saw your message about identifying one issue about pain, but it's kind of hard because I have like like 6 main health problems, and I feel like they all feed into each other.
Sure. Well, go ahead. Hit me with it. That's okay. I just say one because I wasn't sure. You know, I'm time wise.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. So
I'll be really, really concise.
Go for it. Hit me with it. What's going on?
I fell off a horse last summer and I got hip bursitis.
Okay.
So I have pain from that. And I got COVID earlier this year. So I have COVID induced asthma. So I have pain in my, or just pressure on my lungs. I have MS. So I have chronic fatigue. So when you were talking about that, I was like, oh my God, I relate to that.
Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I have like depression and anxiety, and I feel like that kind of holds me back from healing. And then I have TMJ pain, which I have in my jaw, which I think also stems from anxiety, from like clenching my jaw when I was young.
For sure. Yeah. Totally, for sure. So what side is the TMJ pain going on right now?
It's on both sides. I have osteoarthritis in the joint. So I have no more condyle, no more cartilage in my jaw.
You have literally, the cartilage in your jaw has completely broken down.
Yeah. The doctors wanted to do reconstructive surgery because they were like, there's nothing left. You're just,
oh my goodness.
I was like, well, I try to be as natural as possible, and I don't want to do surgery. I try not to take so many drugs because I have so many, health issues. So.
Oh my goodness. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just start there, and we'll head around. No. Like literally, you have no idea. Like this is my passion. So if I can help connect all this, we're going to do it. All right. So, so TMJ. Okay. So you have no cartilage. The cartilage has broken down. And how long has that been going on for you?
Gradually over, the past 10 years, little by little by little. And it's just every year lately has been getting worse and worse.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you something, and I think you probably already know. So what are you feeling in general, because it's on both sides? Are you feeling that you cannot say? Like, where are you not feeling like you can speak your truth?
I don't understand your question.
So where are you? So if you are clenching to the point that the cartilage is actually breaking down, what that means is you are holding in, maybe there's, I don't know what's going on around you, that you're not feeling like you can speak your truth completely, or that if you can, speak up for yourself
Oh,
or that sort of thing. But it's almost like you don't even have the padding. Like there's
yeah.
no wiggle, there's like it's the actual padding, so there's no like softness to it basically. It's been
Yeah.
broken down. Does that make sense? Because there's just, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what would be happening here.
Wow. No, I mean, I'm conscious of it now. I don't clench anymore, but my face is just has so much pressure and tension. But you're saying like it's a symbolic pain
Yeah,
that,
well, I mean, the pain's there, obviously, but
yeah.
what I'm saying is that the breakdown itself would have been because of the amount of immense pressure of trying to hold in and not, like, did you have a lot of conflict around you, or a lot of, where have you
Oh
been,
yeah, a
you
lot of
couldn't speak?
trauma, childhood trauma.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm assuming
PTSD.
you weren't able to speak up in that situation, that you didn't have
Yeah,
a
I
right to speak
wasn't.
up for a long time. You had to like literally clench it in and hold it down.
Yes, and even my job too. I mean, I have a lot of pressure to put on a show for my, I'm a teacher. I have to put on a show, like show that I'm always strong and always
Yeah.
supportive for others. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to, I
Yeah.
can't show weakness, because then I lose my, other people are leaning on me.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's too much. No, no, it's too much. So, all right. So that, yeah, my mom was a teacher for 37 years. I know the pressure of it. It's a lot, and it's only gotten more and more and more.
yeah.
Okay. So right off the bat, that pain I want you to pay attention. Is the pain all the time, or is it off and on? What's going on with that?
It's uh both. It's like kind of all the time, and then the intensity comes off and on.
Got you. So there's like a dull pain
Yeah.
there all the time, and then there's a sharp pain or a intense pain that shows up all of a sudden. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
so then there's two layers. That the dull pain is because of a long-standing kind of heartbreak or ache about the fact you couldn't stand up for yourself in a lot of different situations, or that you had to hold
Yeah.
in things in a lot of different situations. I think that one has a root in childhood, stems from childhood. The intense pain, what I want you to pay attention to when that intense pain comes in, what's happening in that present moment that is going to probably be a trigger that is similar to you not having the power to speak up as a child. So there's going to be something in that will have some sort of similarity between your feelings as a kid of disempowerment and not being able to speak up, or not being able to, your voice not being able to be heard, or not being able to open up your mouth for that, or voice for that, and whatever's happening in that moment. So it might be like a principal coming at you with something, and you can't speak up and say, I don't really like this,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's going to be similar, and it would be a trigger for me. It would be a trigger that's like a similar frequency to you maybe wanting to say, I don't like that as a kid. That's just sort of an example, but
Oh, yeah.
does that make sense? So that's going to trigger the more intense pain, but the dull pain is a long-standing. It's the heartbreak and the hurt long-standing over having to feel
Yeah.
that way.
Oh my God. That's so, just listening to how you're saying, like, validating what it is, like I already feel my jaw relaxing.
Oh
It's
my
really,
God, yeah, yes. Okay, so oh my God, Sasha, so that's like when we know we hit the right frequency. So for everybody that's on, when I'm dealing with pain, if I get the right frequency, the pain will dissipate. Does that mean the healing is done? No, there's more
oh
healing
yeah.
to do. You got to heal the root. But what your body, it's like your body. It always, in fact, since you're a teacher, it always reminds me of, like, if you're teaching preschool and you ask a question, and like, the kids are like, yeah, 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 I know the answer, and they start getting louder and louder the more you ignore them.
Yeah.
And that's essentially like what the pain is in your body. It keeps getting louder, raising its hand, like, this is a pattern. We have to fix this. This sucks. We need to heal it.
Oh my God.
So that's what's happening. And so when we are able to literally let it speak and we understand what it said, it puts its hand down. It goes, oh, it's that same, when you let a 3-year-old talk and like whatever they tell you,
Yes.
relief, there's that like, oh, I finally got it out. It was driving me crazy. That's what happens with the pain in the body. So for anybody who's listening or watching now, that's what happens with the pain. Now, again, we still have to heal the root, which we can do, but that at least now we know that's the root.
Wow, that's amazing. So like I have an inner child and an outer child. That's my body manifesting in pain when my child, is feeling hurt about something, and
Yes.
I'm ignoring it because I'm just trying to be an adult.
Yeah. Aren't we all? Adulting is always a thing, right? But it's understandable because you're just trying. I mean, that's what we learn. We have to kind of just keep going through these things, and we're told that we don't have a lot of control over it. But in these cases, we do. So now that we've got that one, let's connect it to how long? Let me go to MS because I think that's connected. So let's go to the MS. How long ago? Well, let's go to that. When were your first symptoms of MS, and what
2009 was my first attack. Yeah.
Okay, and tell me about what were yours. What does that look like for you in terms of MS?
I woke up one morning. I opened my eyes, and the world was upside down and spinning.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had to like go to work that way and walk around. It was like a nightmare. So then my doctor was like, I think you need an MRI. And I had a whole bunch of my brain looks like a pepperoni pizza, it got like lesions all over the place. But
okay.
Fortunately, my disability is invisible. So it manifests mostly in fatigue. And it's hard, I have to because people look at me and expect I'm going to function and perform like everyone else. And it's like, I have to kind of find ways to advocate for myself without seeming like I'm being, trying to get out of work or trying to be, get special treatment or, it's, but I don't really care what people think of me because I don't have time. I have MS, you know what I mean? Like, it's so precious and, yeah.
Do you have, so tell me, after 2009, have you had additional attacks then? And
no, thank God. It's relapsing, remitting.
So it was just that one, and it is in remission at the moment, other than obviously the fatigue. And
I do chemo every 6 months.
Gotcha.
And that keeps it stable.
Yeah, I have a friend doing the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So let's go back to 2009 because it's going to be something within. This was such a severe shock. I'd be very surprised it wasn't something quite recent around that episode, but it'll be something within that last year. The fact you woke up and your eyesight was upside down and the world was spinning tells me literally you felt like your world had flipped upside down and that everything was literally, it's this sense of being on a boat and nothing's stable. Yeah. So what was going on? I mean, what happened? Because it would have been something in 2009. And let's go. And so you've got lesions. You said it's like pepperoni. You've got lesions all over the brain, like different spots all over the place. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so those for me would be, I think there's been a lot of things in your life, probably since childhood, that you've had to try to, how do I say it? How do I explain that? Think yourself through, but you kind of, for me, the lesions, the image I'm getting on your lesions is actually, it's going to be, I've never had this one, that's really weird, but we're going to go with it. Scratch and sniff stickers. And I don't know why, but I think what it means is it's trying to tell me that there's like, how smell is a very strong memory thing. And it feels like maybe it's memories, things from childhood where you had like these little wounds and you kind of almost, instead of putting bandages on them, I think I'm being shown the scratch and sniff stickers. So I'm going to go with it. There's something about it that it's just been like a lot of different things that you've had to kind of think yourself through, find solutions for, probably before you were, when you were young, like you shouldn't be able to have to find those solutions.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think I literally have never seen, I do a lot of work with people with MS. I've never seen scratch and sniff. So I think it is just trying to tell me it's like childhood stuff. And then that childhood pattern has come forward where you're having to like, even now, what you just described, you're having to navigate MS, but like navigate it in such a way that you're not getting extras, although I think you should have extra if you need it because you have MS. So let's go to, though, I think those are the connections. I think it's back from childhood. I think there's a breakdown. I don't think you had a lot of communication support as a child.
No.
That certainly of being heard. I think that, again, that's why I think that the TMJ is connected to the MS.
Wow.
I think there's a breakdown you obviously didn't have a family that communicated well with you or supported.
Oh no, they were totally dysfunctional.
Okay. So
no boundaries, no like, respect and kindness, and also like culturally a mess. Like, my father's Indian and my mother's Italian. Makes absolutely no sense.
Gotcha. Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. That would be a lot culturally.
Yeah.
I grew up with with both kinds of families, a lot of friends in those families, and still it's a lot. Okay, so let's go to 2009 because something flipped everything upside down. Like your world was flipped down. Do you remember what was going on in that period of time?
I was bullied to quit my job.
Oh,
a year earlier. So I had a nervous breakdown,
okay.
And I got a different job. It was completely different. I left the profession because I needed a break.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
I was still holding on to a lot of stuff, a lot of like just fear, anger, and sadness and frustration.
Your world was literally turned upside down, and then you had to deal with the what you thought your path was, and then it wasn't, and no wonder you didn't feel stable. You literally were having a nervous breakdown because there was just so much going on. So that's the root of why you had that attack. Does that make sense? It was literally your body trying to say, your world's been flipped up down. We're not handling it well. We don't feel safe. Things are spinning out of control. And that's what your body it was trying to send you those signals of that's what you were feeling. That was the trauma manifesting in your body at that moment in time.
Yeah.
That was able to show you the MS, which is good because they caught it, which is good. So you can get treatment and so forth to put it in remission. But what I'd like to see is helping you to have more of a sense of stability, groundedness, and protection, because I feel like the theme I'm seeing here is you don't have a lot of protection in the ways that you're needing to communicate, right? So meaning that you kind of, I think the sense I get is actually you would like to be able to speak freely and maybe have a job where you feel like you can just support. I don't know if that makes sense, but be supported and be able to like be who you are and that kind of thing. It feels like there's a disconnect there between where you're at right now and where you want to be.
Yeah. Now I'm at a point where like, I want to be trusted. I'm an expert in what I do. I want to be trusted to be able to make the decisions I know are right. I don't need to be told how to do my job,
Mm-hmm. And are you're in a situation now where you're at a school where you're not being given that opportunity? Is that right?
Yeah, but you really helped me a lot with that.
Good.
Doing the empath training was amazing. I was was feeling so lost and like out of control, and that really helped me feel like, you know what? Even if I have to stay for a while until I can heal my lungs and heal my body, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay no matter what. So
that's going to make me cry. Good. I'm so glad. That's going to make me cry. I'm glad. Yeah. So she's talking about the empathic badass thing. So for empaths that are on here, I have like a little 5-day program that is very helpful to put in practice. So if that's something, you can send me a note and I will send you the link for it. Okay, so I cannot believe we're at like 10:50 already, but I would like to so the chronic fatigue is that feeling of continuously being pulled apart at the seams. I think it's you want to move one way and you can't always just confidently be able to move that way because something else, maybe the principal, maybe the administration is pulling you the other direction. And
Yes.
it's the being almost, it's that ripping apart at the seams feeling. And so that is something that I would like to see. And I think, honestly, when we go to the COVID-induced asthma, because there's a connection there, and actually, Lily just said, sending you so much love. I have long COVID too.
Thank you, Lily.
Yep. Yeah. And Lily is an awesome human as well. So COVID, and okay, so when we're talking about the asthma, I think a huge part of it is you literally aren't able to breathe in fully. So it's like so the image I'm getting on you right now is almost like, oh my God, what were those things called? Like, it's like almost like an mummy or an Iron Maiden. Like, it's almost like being caged, like squished in to this box, and you want to be in the, like, there's this feeling of, I can't breathe in fully. I can't like do this. I can't expand. I'm in this, like, what were those? I think it was I don't know. It's like it looks like a steel KG thing. I'll say that. It's all like, I don't know that it's a medieval something torture device. It's like iron lung, maybe. It's like, yeah, it's like you're squeezed. It's like squeezed.
Yes.
So you're not able to expand. So what I'd like you to do to start to help heal this is I'd like you to write down where are the ways you would like to expand? What would expansion mean for you? And if you could be fully yourself in voice, if you could speak your truth completely, if you could be in a situation where your expertise and your knowledge and all of that was able to go out of you and feel fully supported, what would that look like? So if you can do those things, let's start there. I know you got the hip bursitis, and I know the falling off the horse. I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm going to get to that one. But
I know it's okay. I know
I actually think that's tied, because you said that was, what, a year ago?
Yeah, falling off. Yeah, I love horseback riding. It's screwed up because that's something I love, and then that brought me pain.
So, but that's the problem, because then horseback riding is freedom. Horseback riding is expansion. Yeah. Horseback riding is letting you go.
Yes.
And so I would like you to look really quick, like just it would be about, I'd go a year and a half ago on that one, about 6 months prior to when you fell off. What was making you feel like you didn't deserve kind of that freedom, or what was making you feel like you were having things sort of knocked out of you, and why you couldn't expand yourself? I'd want you to look about a year. It's like 6 months prior. So I don't know if you had a principal or a person in your life that was like, I see you want to expand that way. I see you want to do these things that are more free. I see that you want to ride off into the sunset with this, so to speak. I want to pull that, and I'm putting up a wall there. I'm blocking it. I just want you to take a look, think about it, and you can journal on it and see what that looks like, and you can let me know. But the fact that that kind of got taken away from you, I would like you, one thing that's just come to me right now. I want you to use the mantra, affirmation, or as I call it, retuning statement. Let's see, I am allowed to expand. And I'd like you to use, I deserve joy, pleasure, and freedom in my life. Those are the ones I'd want you to tap into, and just start saying them. Like, keep them everywhere. Start saying them. Start seeing if you can remember. It'd be great if you could attach that to a happy moment in your life when you did feel some expansion, maybe horseback riding before you fell off, like something like that. If you can attach it to that feeling and let that feeling kind of flow over you, and then use those, that's going to at least start to expand it a little bit. Like, it's going to kind of, does that make sense? Does that feel like, if you hear those mantras, that's kind of like, does it feel expansive to you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's starting to wake up this little like it's like a baby in a coma in my soul.
Yeah. That's a great description. It's that feeling of like, I feel like there's like so much of you that wants to expand out. It's almost like bursting. but it's in this like it's being constrained in this thing, whatever this metal thing is I keep seeing.
Yeah.
It's being constrained, and we want to like let's break that off
Yeah.
and break free of that. I think freedom right now is a big word for you, of like expansion and freedom. Those are the words I want you to use. And then if you can journal on those other things and let me know, I might be able to fine tune that a little bit more for you as well. But I think those are good places. Also, let me know how, if the TMJ pain keeps, or the jaw starts to unlock a little more, do let me know. Cause I
Oh my
think,
God,
I think
yes.
you got that one. Good.
Yeah, you really helped me. I mean, my jaw is still, just thinking about what you said immediately is like taking a Tylenol.
Oh, yay. Good, 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 good. Okay. This
Yeah.
is what I live to do. Thank you. I'm so,
Thank,
so, so glad. Thank you
thank
for
you.
sharing, and being willing to share. Thank you so much for trusting me to help too. Olivia as well. And I send you so much love. Let me know on this, how that goes, with that as well. So,
Well, thank you, Tara.
oh, thank you so much. I'll just mute you just so you're just to, okay. Okay, now, does anybody else, I see Jill, I know we're like 5 minutes to go. So let me tell you really quickly before I may go an extra 15 minutes if some other people would like to step forward and I can help. Let me tell you about a couple of things. One thing is I do have a really cool thing, my body language, deciphering your body's clues so you can heal program. It's a really intensive course that I offer that helps give you like all the tools, literally design a complete, like decipher exactly what's going on with you, just literally design your exact perfect action plan with the exact perfect exercises that are going to work in the way that you learn best. It has group calls once a month. And it's got group calls. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, you can take a look at it. I'm running a special right now. It's only $222 for that. It's usually about $1,000. So it's a really good thing. And I would love for people to get into that and see if I can help more people heal. The second thing, and this won't be for everybody, is I am also teaching people and certifying people how to do this work, the work that I do, out in the world as certified healing practitioners. So if you are a healer or you're an empath, I'm looking specifically for empaths that also love kind of logic and science and love to have a science foundation. So everything you're seeing me do right now also has a really strong scientific structure. There's a big scientific discovery at the basis of it. And I love to teach it. And right now I have people moving through the certification program and they're doing just amazing things in the world. I help people identify their exact soul gifts so that they know exactly who they're supposed to serve in the world. And the joy I feel from, I'm only one person. I can help as many people as I can help. But if I can teach more people how to do this, then we can heal the world. And that's really my goal. So if you're interested in that, you can just send me an email message. I only have like maybe 3 or 4 people in a month. I'm not going for numbers. I'm going for the right people. So there's zero pressure. If you're interested, you can let me know and you and I can go back and forth. We can chat about it and see if it's a fit. So in the meantime, I can see that Jill gave me a good question in chat. So we'll go just a few minutes over. If anybody else would like to ask a question or get some help, I'm happy to do it. I'm here. I'm happy to go we can go about 15 minutes over and then I've got a coach. Oh, Molly. Hey, Molly. Oh my gosh. You and your sense of smell. All right. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Okay. Hi, Jill. Not sure if this is appropriate. I broke my leg and I'm completely dependent. Coincidentally, I thought of in my head prior to breaking my leg that I'm not sure if I can keep up my work for another 5 years. And then this happened. Okay. Yeah, well, I think, Jill, you've worked with me in the past, so I think you learned how to translate that a little bit. Yeah, so the thought right before you broke your leg, I mean, that thought was like, can I do this? And then it's almost, so I had somebody I worked with, probably 10 years ago now. And she was the most awesome human being, most kind person, just like Jill. Jill's a wonderful person. I know her personally as well. And she was awesome. And she was this amazing person, caretaking, doing all of these things, actually much like you're doing now that I say that, Jill. And she kept saying to me, I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. Like every session we had, she needed a break. And I remember saying to her, okay, let's find a different way. Let's find some space for you. Let's find some time for you to have some downtime. because we don't want to keep telling the universe we want a break, because you're going to get a break. And about a week later, she was up on a ladder, like painting the ceiling, I think, at like one of the houses of one of the people she took care of. And she fell off the ladder and she broke her leg. And so that story comes forward for you, Jill, because I think probably I know how much you hold together for so many people, because I am aware of your work. And I know that you care passionately about what you do. And I know you care passionately about the patients that you help. So that's a lot to hold up. And I know that you oftentimes are taking like calls on the weekends, I believe, as well, especially when I remember you telling me about one of the people was like kind of on the street or something at one point. So I think at some level you knew that it's not sustainable, that you needed a break. Can you tell me, and Jill, I don't know if you're still on. Can you tell me which leg was it? Was it your left leg? And Candace, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. All right. I don't know if Jill, if it's your left, I mean, I would be surprised if it wasn't your left leg. So your left leg would be very much you putting pressure on yourself and not being able to stop. And really the only way you could give yourself a break was almost to fall and break your leg. And so I think what I'd like for you to do, Jill, is to think through what are the ways that you can make your work more sustainable? How can you set some healthy boundaries where you are not off, you are not online, or not left leg. Oh, and you're muted. Oh, do you want me to unmute? Okay, wait. I'll unmute you. I didn't know you wanted to talk. Here, there you go. Hey, Jill.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
amazing. It's amazing that you said left leg, because yes, it was a very fluke Memorial Day, taking the dog out just for one last outside before I went to the Memorial Day parade, wearing a pair of shoes I haven't worn for a year that were slippery, and suddenly slipped, like in the blink of an eye, heard my legs snap, started calling out, laying in my backyard saying my leg is broken.
Okay.
And 2 surgeries later, I'm laying on my sofa with my leg in the air.
Oh, Jill, you had to have surgeries. Holy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I broke 4 bones. I can't wait bare for at least another 6 weeks, and it's been 4 weeks now.
You broke 4 bones?
Yes, I broke my tibia, fibula, and both of my the little ankle bones, the malleolus, external and internal malleolus.
Okay, that's even more than I thought was going on. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this was a big wake-up call, but I know you know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So
right.
Okay. Let's go.
So tell
go
me
ahead.
again what the left leg means in particular. You said
in this particular case, so it can be a female on the outside that's giving you a ton of pressure that you're trying to hold up, you're trying to push forward, and you can't, and that you're feeling like, especially with the slip, my gut, though, honestly, Jill, is telling me it's you and the pressure you were putting on yourself about carrying a bunch of people. I don't know. Did you have some female patients in that period of time that were like, you were trying to kind of drag forward more so?
Well, that's most of my people. Yes. And
Most
one
of
of them,
people. And okay.
And one of them is, the one I talked to you about, the mentor.
That's what yeah. That would be, okay. So my gut instinct is telling me there's an aspect of that's very overwhelming, trying to help her family manage that. Because I just know you do incredible work. I think the other aspect is that, have you been feeling for a while that the way that you're working is unsustainable though?
Well, I'm 61, and to get to like past 65, I'm feeling like I love what I do, but can I keep this up? It's sort of like that little voice in my head that goes like, oh, I mean, I love it, but how can I continue at this as I am? And I was literally my back porch. I had that thought, can I keep this up? And I got a thought in my head that said, something's going to change. I need a change. I'm sorry, it's
I know.
emotional because it was weird that I got this voice saying, something's got to change. And then it said something's going to change. And I was like literally saying to the universe, but I'm going to need help. I'm going to need help to get there. I'm going to need guidance to make a change, like whether it's a career change or whether it's just changing the way I'm doing my business. I'm going to need help and guidance. And within the week, I fell.
Okay. Well, yeah,
That wasn't exactly the kind of guidance I was
no.
looking for.
No, I know. And I'm so sorry. My heart is actually hurting I know. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you the number of people I have dealt with that have had that exact series of events. I can't tell you, of the pressure and feeling not supported and feeling like literally like kind of the rug was slipping out from under you. Like, okay, I need something. And you slipped. So you slipped, you were stepping forward and the universe was like, okay, we're going to put her down for a while.
Right. And totally dependent. And I'm the one taking care of people usually. And I am I can't even get into a shower by myself because
Jill. Okay.
I'm in a boot and I can't get my leg wet and I keep it elevated and I'm moving around either by wheelchair or scooter. I can't leave my house. I can't even go outside because of steps without someone helping me.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell me, what has this meant for your business? How have you shifted right now in your business?
Well, I'm an occupational therapist who works for me, who is now doing everything. She's the legs. We talk every day.
Mm-hmm.
And, I give her guidance, but she's had to maneuver pretty much on her own. And it's a shift because I was still very much in control before this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always thinking I need to give her more autonomy. I need her to step out and do more and do more of what she can do versus having to consult with me all the time. So that has happened. She's out there figuring it out.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This forced that. You wanted to do it for a long time, but this actually, and believe me, I would never wish a massive injury like this. My husband went through something like this. It did change everything, and he was suddenly completely dependent on me, and he had a bunch of work stuff. Anyways, so I really understand where this is coming from, and it's the suckiest way to have this happen. But so I want you to notice some of the words that you used. I wanted her to step out more. And now she's literally having to be your steps. She's literally having to step out for you. And so this did give you a complete change in how could this be handled without you having to be the one pushing it forward, stepping forward all the time. So you have had, unfortunately, in a tough way, what my gut is telling me is what's needed here is a complete relook at how, after you heal, can you create this in a sustainable way for you that you can continue to do what you're passionate about, but you are not the only. So the vision I'm getting is almost like a Roman column. And you know how the Roman columns, they still stand, 2,000 years later or whatever, but they're crumbling. And so it's like, how can you get those additional columns? You're not the only thing holding up this entire thing. And I think that is the lesson right now in this, because it's interesting that 4 places, that is like somebody came along and just crack, tumbled the column. The column cannot stand. The column, when you put it back together, have you ever seen the like Japanese wabi-sabi, where they think that the thing, when it's put back together, they'll use like gold to solder a broken vase piece back in. And they consider that beautiful. That broken piece is actually more beautiful now. And I think for you, the message is here, how can we put that column back together in a way that is more beautiful for you so that you have structure and support and are still able to do this business you love so much. And I think you're starting to learn. So how is the occupational therapist? I don't know if it's a she or he. Did you say she? How is she handling things in a positive way? How are you feeling about that?
Yes, I feel like she's doing a great job.
Okay.
She sends me frequent texts saying, "Oh my God, I hate being Jill Rosner." or
so she's taking on. Okay.
Yeah, she's like getting it now. I think it's also good in the sense that she gets it. Like, she gets what my life is like, because when you work for somebody and they're taking all the calls, when you're working for somebody and they're taking all the calls and they're just telling you what to do, it doesn't necessarily seem as bad as, I'm living your life now, and wow.
My husband was managing a team of IT people, and to that vein, he had this one guy kept coming in. I want to be a manager. Why am I not getting a promotion? I want to be a manager. So John, my husband, made him a manager. Not a week later, he came in and started complaining about how hard it was to manage people and have to do all the things that John was doing. And he's like,
right. Exactly.
That's what you asked for there, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. She's not complaining, but she's
no. I
oh
totally
my gosh,
know.
your life.
But it also holds a mirror up to how much you are holding together, right? Because, like with my husband, he was like, yeah, what do you think this is all the stuff. Now it kind of makes it apparent. This is hard. It is a lot. How do we lighten the load? How do we put it back together in a way that is truly sustainable for you going forward? Because Jill, the work you do is life-changing for people. You're literally helping people at a level that's amazing. I don't know if I can, is it okay to share what you do, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, or do you want to explain it? You probably would explain it better than I do, but.
Well, I'm a nurse and I'm a care manager, and I really help people manage their healthcare needs and do everything from getting them appointments and doctor's appointments, getting them places sometimes, organizing, managing their care and working with their families. And I have a lot of people with dementia. So I'm working with a lot of people whose families are at wit's end, and a lot of young people now facing dementia challenges that we never saw before. Mental illness, seeing a lot of people with mental illness. So it's challenging, but it's constant. I'm on call. The phone is on always, and I get calls at all times of day, night, sometimes, and weekends and holidays and that kind of thing. So it is challenging, and it seemed okay. It seemed okay. But then, I had that little voice in my head, and then boom.
Yeah, I think the voice in your head was probably the culmination of a whole bunch of little niggly things along the way of wow, this is getting overwhelming. Wow, I have a lot to do. How do I hold all this up? And then that ended up being the culmination, and that ended up being the thing. So yeah, I think one thing I would love for you to do is to take some time and think about how could you have, even if you had somebody else on call on the weekends sometimes, that would be a huge help. And I know you are amazing. It sounds like this occupational therapist is great. Could you train her or another person to be on call and to respond, maybe not the same as you, but in a similar way to you, so that you could truly be off? Because I think, well, no, I don't think. I think I know the universe has just given you this okay, we're going to put it back together, but we're going to put it back together different. Because you can't keep stepping forward, literally can't keep stepping forward like that.
Right.
Yeah. What I'd like to, with you, what I'd love to do, if you want to, is if you have time, set up an actual session with me, and I would like to actually go through this with you in deep detail, so that we can create. Let's wabi sabi it essentially, but let's put it back together more beautiful, so that because Jill, you have so much beauty and good that you do, and I think there's other ways for you to be able to do what you're doing that could multiply you in a different way, with less pressure, allowing you to have spaciousness, allowing you to continue to make the impact that you make without so much being on you all the time. And that's, I think if we can do that, that's the game changer. I think that would be the lesson. That would be the beauty out of this really awful experience. I can't believe you had to have 2 surgeries on top of it. Do you have pins? Did you ever get like pins or something?
Yes, I have my ankles just full of metal. Yeah,
That's my sister had that happen. Yeah, she had to go through, I think, 2 or 3 surgeries. It was bad. She slipped down long story short, she slipped down the stairs. I'll go with that.
Yep. And now, I mean, there's like a certain amount of PTSD about even thinking about walking, you know?
Oh, yeah. My husband went through that exact thing. Yeah, that exact thing. So I do are you considering
Yes.
getting, okay, good. Like
I would like a session. Yes, definitely.
Oh, that
So
part, yes. But I mean, like, also, I would recommend maybe something like an EMDR, a couple sessions of EMDR to help turn down the trauma of going through that, because it will help you with feeling more confident with, have you done EMDR? Are you familiar with it?
No.
Okay,
Not
EMDR is completely awesome. So for anybody who's dealt with traumas, the EMDR is a methodology that was developed by a therapist, I think about maybe 15 years ago. And what it does is she figured out that your brain can't process trauma at the I'm probably not explaining this right, at the highest possible level if your eyes are busy. So it sounds crazy, but they literally have you like watching this thing back and forth, and then they help you to identify the trauma and then process the trauma down. So it might start off with somebody that like is at a 10 from a trauma standpoint, like really afraid of whatever it might have been. And then they help you process it down in a very safe way that allows your brain to essentially, it's a lot of what I do with like the reprogramming of beliefs, but in this case, it's like helping to crisscross and change the neural pathways really quickly so that the outside trigger, and I talk about triggers a lot. We didn't have anybody with triggers, but when we do, it's really interesting. The outside trigger gets turned, it just gets, the volume gets turned down essentially.
Yes. Okay, great.
I would think you've got to have some EMDR people around you, or somebody, I'm sure somebody who deals with.
Yes.
Oh, and Angela said there's some EMDR videos on YouTube. Oh, I didn't even know that. There you go. I didn't even know that. And then Angela's saying EMDR helps me a lot. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's awesome. And Molly, yeah, I know. We can absolutely talk later. And Sasha, EMDR saved my life. I've had PTSD most of my life. It's like surgery for your soul. That's a great way to describe it. Thank you, Sasha. To extract the emotional pain trapped in my body, worth every penny. I would agree. You're talking, it might be just a couple of sessions, like just to reprogram that. And I mean, I will say, like my husband literally had the same thing for a while. He was having a really hard time even considering like stepping, like he slipped on a rug, which is what caused the, he literally blew his quad muscle, and I thought he was having a massive heart attack. It was traumatic for me too. And so he had to go through surgery, couldn't be on his leg for 8 weeks, couldn't put any pressure on his leg at all. And then after that, it was almost like rugs became a trigger. Needless to say, he would see a rug and be like walking around it. And, there was a lot of fear around just walking or putting pressure on his leg because of that. So it's just something that really helps really pretty profoundly, pretty quickly, that you don't need usually a lot of sessions, but just a couple to kind of help you as you're healing this. And so you can feel more confident going forward. So anyways, that would be my recommendation. And as you see, like a few other people have done it, and I'm a big believer that that's an amazing additional modality to help people with trauma. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Jill, I'm sorry. I had no idea it was that bad. That's big. That's
Yeah.
massive.
Yep. Definitely put me on my sofa.
Oh man, I'm sorry. All right. Well, Jill, thank you for sharing. Let me know. We can get a session. I just would love to go through it really detailed with you and come up so that you're fully supported going forward, and come up with a way to shift this completely so that you can continue doing your awesome work without having this additional, that much pressure on you. There's a way forward, for sure. There's a way forward.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tara.
All right, Jill. Sending you love as usual. I'll mute you just for now. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I know we've gone to 11:20. I've got a call I got to get on to, but for everybody that's here right now, I'll make sure that you get an additional invitation to the next one. You can also, please feel free to send me an email at tara@tarameyer-robson.com. And I will, if I can, I'll do a video response of a translation for you. that hopefully would be helpful as well. And then, as I said, I do have my my body language program, which is I'll put in the link for you, Meyer-Robson.com, and then it's body language. Okay, and you can jump in there. I feel really that one. I love that program because it does not matter what you have: rash, lumps, bumps, sore throats, like any kind of pain. It doesn't matter. As you can see, it doesn't matter what your body is telling you. And when we know how to talk to it, when we know how to listen, we can change it. We can turn it down, we can shift it, and we can heal. I've helped people heal from literally terminal illnesses that they were told they had 6 months to live, and they are still. In fact, she runs a lovely horse farm right now, one of the ladies that I can think of. So she's good, and it's been like 10 years. So there are, once the body is listened to, it's like I was saying to Sasha, it can put its hand down and go, oh, you know what? I can heal. I can let this go. She is listening. He is listening. So I want to thank you guys all so much for being here. Again, if you're interested, if this sounds like something, like if you're listening to me doing this and you're like, man, I would love to be able to use my empath nature to do this too, please just reach out. There is zero pressure from me, as I say. Again, it's not about numbers. I'm just trying to train the right people to go out and do this work. And I do have, there are payment plans. There's actually a 100% financing option. So there is a ton of different options for you. If it's something you'd like to step forward and explore, we can just chat about it. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. If I didn't get it to you today, those are the things that you can do, and I'll make sure you get an invite to the next one. I appreciate you supporting me on my first one of these. I'm hoping that this is going to be a real conduit for helping so many people to have access to healing and to knowing the power inside themselves and to knowing how to listen to these messages and heal everything. Because once you hear it, you don't just heal your body, you inherently heal the pattern, you heal your life. You start shifting things in ways that are really profound. You start having better experiences in your life because of it. And that's why I'm passionate about it. If I can help one person heal, it has a ripple effect out to the world. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so grateful for every single one of you for being here. Oh, Angela, I'm sorry you missed the beginning. I think I should have a replay. I think there should be a replay that goes out to you guys automatically. I'll make sure you guys get it. Technology is always fun. I'll just double check, but I'm pretty sure there's a replay link that goes out to everybody right after this. Sasha, Angela, Jill, everybody, Becca and Joan and Molly and all of you guys that are here today, thank you so much for being here and allowing me to be able to do this work, because it really is my soul's work and I love helping people heal. Talk to you guys again soon. See you guys very, very soon. And for everybody I did do a translation for, give me some follow-up. Let me know how